Speaking of that, there it is. Yeah, finally. I mean, we had our complaints about the overlay. This doesn't mean that that we want the overlay to be gone. Just gotta take that one as well. And for Fuk1, I kind of dodged the question from you earlier. I want him to focus a bit more on Yoshino and make sure that despite the 1v1 matchup going maybe not as easy for him, that he can help out Yoshino to really go strong to the mid game, because if he doesn't, he usually falls off very hard as a pick. Not that she's scaling poorly or anything, but in the mid game team fights where she's forced to be in them, she doesn't really excel.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit scared looking at Flash's composition when I think about how they played the last game, because setups around dragons looked really rough, and now they're Fiora Renekton, which doesn't really give them all that much setup power either. There's no zoning control. Oh wow, how did that land? Not bad for P, not bad. But yeah, their composition is one ranged champion with a little bit of choke control in Varus, but otherwise all of them are pretty bad at buying space. Maybe there's the level 2 engage, and that's the cow, and in a lot of trouble. That Sora might die here. No, Sora walks away. So Fletch might once again be forced to play very aggressively, which seems to be their wheelhouse, which we like to see, especially after Series 1, but it's not an easy composition to execute.
I mean, I can't stream Flash for a reason, right? Disrespect level 2, just flash out, that's all there really is to it. Either way, I'm making too many silly jokes. As 1OP is missing that hook at least. No chance to pull in on that one. Either way, Artemis and 1OP yet again show great prowess in this laning phase. I mean, last game they got 2v2'd, maybe they learned from that. And we see bone plating on the side of Podin. That could also help him to prevent dying in some of those all-in kind of situations in a 2v2. With Drakthar having the first move and Fuk1 just face checks into him, that's a lot of damage onto Fuk1.
Yeah, unfortunately he's a big boy and can't really be bursted down. Now Drakthar in a weird position, but he can just E away. Yoshino, can they get on Drakthar again? E flash from Fuk is available, so they might try to... Oh, that's a good disengage once again. Drakthar doesn't have repel, so now it's gonna be interesting. Pun with a good step.
Oh, nice bailout.
Oh, Yoshino! Yoshino, there we go, another solo kill, and in the meantime, something's happening somewhere else as well. There's the 1-for-1 trait in the mid lane, something?
Yeah, there is. They tried to move up the top lane, from mid lane to top lane, and yeah, 1OP was there with the roam. He got solo killed by Jane, but Jane left the kill up to the side of Yado. I mean, we didn't really see the play, but that must have been what has happened there. As, I mean, the top side from Cerberus kind of trolling it. I mean, Drakthar being there ready for Fuk1, but he was very deep in the enemy top quadrant, so Pan couldn't really help him out there, and Pan also getting chunked up by Yoshino might have been what ultimately caused them there, as Yoshino was still healthy enough to really go for the chase, flash, lunge forward to land the kill to Drakthar. Was a nice two-man counter-strike by Pan beforehand, but ultimately, wasn't enough to bail them out, and Team Flash with a good start yet again.
Yeah, and I need to talk about Yoshino, because I was so worried. He's a legend of this VCS region, or the Vietnamese region. He's one of the best top laners we've ever seen. He was up there with Xerus and Kiaya, fighting for his spot on Gum, won multiple titles. He was the carry and one of the leaders for Flash when they won their titles in 2020, and the last time we saw him, he looked dreadful, especially in lane. Only played tanks, fell behind against Coated and other players, but he's back in form. He's playing his carries, and it's so good to see. I'm so excited to have Yoshino back in this league, because top lane was always one of the positions we were iffy about in this league. We have great ADCs, we have pretty good supports and junglers, of course, but top lane, yeah, we had Kiaya and then a lot of nothing. But with Yoshino coming back in and Hasmut hopefully getting back in form soon, this top lane could be much more exciting with Enper, with Hero, the newer players. So yeah, I am just so hyped to see Flash doing well, and especially Yoshino on their side.
Yoshino also fed himself double buffs with this play onto Drakthar, so he does have some more prowess in this laning phase to really have something against the Jax in the first few levels, where it has been looking pretty rough for him falling down quite some CS. But here's the support jungle roam out there in the middle to catch Jane. They catch him.
Oh, nicely done, Ronop here. The CC follow-up is beautiful.
Also just so much this year, but the dredge line, the auto attacks, the staggering blow from the Nautilus, the cocoon as well, and then Yano also lands his chains on top of that, so once you hit one spell, the others land automatically as well. Poor Jane on the beefy Renekton, not beefy enough to really withstand this CC and damage combination. So Cerberus, equalize the scoreboard with the 2-2, and we know equalize scoreboard tends to be in their favor, as their bot lane is always up in CS.
Yeah, I mean, we see why Alistair's not really played in other regions. It's just not able to lane against anything. It's just a horrible, horrible laner. And this Nautilus has been able to win lane. Oh, we have a little bit of a clash, and this Elise might be in trouble again. Yoshino, he's looking for his opportunity. That's a W. Ooh, very nicely done. Pun dodges away from the counter stun, just walking away from Yoshino's W, but he's forced to flash, and Yoshino is just styling on them.
And I'm not quite happy with what Drakthar tried to do in the top lane. Every time he's up there, Pan has to either bail him out with his abilities or even use a summoner spell I quite know to help him. And yeah, I think Pan just hates both junglers this game, like any top laner would. And yeah, not really too fond of what Drakthar tried there. I think playing out the mid lane, playing out the bot lane has been something that worked better for him this game, at least so far. As he's also running Squirtle this game, right? He's with the blue jungle item. So that's something that we have seen recently a bit more, as all the jungle items are finally somewhat balanced, I would say. The movement speed coming out of Fog of War, coming out of Brushes, definitely something that those ganking junglers especially can work around with quite well.
Yeah, and so far, Elise, we haven't seen much of her in the VCS, and now Drakthar playing back-to-back Elise games and looking pretty lost on the map, I have to say. For such a strong early game champion that's usually able to accelerate the game, invade all the time, Vayne is under a little bit of pressure, but nice follow-up by Sora, just to keep him safe. But yeah, this Elise, I'm very underwhelmed, I have to say.
Yeah, not looking good. I mean, even in the first game, with the Renekton combination where he was kind of failing the cocoons and just being too impatient to really wait for the full range, just showed that I think those VCS junglers in general don't play much Elise because they expect it to be banned, and that's unironically, I think that some mechanical issues maybe come aside, as they maybe like put a game here and there onto this champion. In solo queue, it also gets banned quite a lot, so you don't get to play much Elise. You get to play a lot more like the Wukong, like the Vaya, some champions along those lines, as bot lane might just be a dive into Sora. Hook misses though.
What did I just... What? Okay, Sora wants some of this. The flash forward, that might have been a little aggressive. As, yeah, he's Alistair, but he's level 4 Alistair, so he's still not a champion. Nice try, but in the end, that's a free kill over to Elise. Yeah, Drakthar finally finding something there. In the meantime, on the top side, we have Team Flash getting their first Herald. So Herald against a Dragon, trade with an extension of 1 extra kill on Sora. This Alistair also hasn't looked like a good champion so far in this game. Maybe he can redeem himself later.
Like, we get it, you hate Alistair, but either way, 1OP. Also, I want to correct myself, he wasn't really missing the hook. I think it was intentional that he just uses the hook to gap close to the wall, to be there with a staggering blow, to just keep Alistair in place so Elise can easily feast on him. As Gold Flash.
He tried to predict the E, he didn't quite land the stun, but the ultimate is good enough, I think, for a kill. Yoshino has an easy job to finish this one. A beautiful Gragas play from Fuk1. In the meantime, the bot lane, we have a lot of damage. Good flash from Ronopi. He was okay. It's continuing. Sora's only level 4, he's gonna go down again. Where's Drakthar? Hello?
Yeah, Rappel, and he took like half an hour to come down. It was very, very weird. Either way, that's the kill. I gotta take it on both sides. I mean, Pan knew that Herald was just being taken, and he's still there to fall for the top gank.
Yeah,
Sora knew that Drake was just being taken, and Drakthar just goes for the weapon one gank to kill him again. I mean, this whole Drake was even being taken because he died there in the first place. And yeah, Artemis also casually just off-screen put in, like, yeah, it sometimes happens in the VCS. Either way, with Herald charge
this is the VCS top lane. We know and love. Not that bullshit we saw in the first series today, where no one ever killed anything.
the first series literally put Rebel Fox to sleep. That's what it did.
It's true.
Yeah, without this first series, you wouldn't be here right now. And in the bigger picture, it's strong side Yoshino against strong side Artemis, and I'm very excited to see how this mid game really plays out, because yeah, it will be a banger, I guess, with both those two members, both star players of their team respectively, being just fed by their team.
Yeah, Yoshino funneled so much gold now with all the platings. He doesn't actually have his first item finished, so behind the item curve if you compare to Artemis, but still in a super strong position. He seems to be struggling in the neutral state of the lane, I'm gonna call it, so just the farming isn't going too great for Yoshino. It's pretty far behind in CS, compared, especially if you consider that his enemy top lane has been dying quite a few times, or had to evacuate the lane at least a few times, so Yoshino, maybe his farming is not quite up to snuff, but at least he's still dominating this top side for now. Team Flash needs to be careful not to overinvest into this Fiora, though, because in terms of team fighting, they probably need a little bit of backup carry from Pudden.
And that's what gets me worried for Team Flash, actually, because, I mean, they really funnel a lot into this Fiora, and she's still not confident enough to really go for this 1v1 in the long lane. I think at some point, if she's so fat, she should be able to run down the Jax, or at least be able to get the CS and then walk back out. And Yoshino isn't feeling confident in that one at all. Meanwhile, Artemis, he's fed in both plates and kills and CS, so to say. So basically winning on all sides of it, and he's very, very confident about it. As Jane is very confident to die right here, I guess. Yado taking that kill up easily, with Draktar being around, with the Cocoon landing, of course. It's just a disgusting CC chain we have seen before in the mid lane. And yeah, can't really blame Jane too much. Goes for the Dominus and
Can we
just...
get the counter kill? That's a lot of CC from the other side too. We have so many big CC chains in this game. It's very fun to watch because all these champions chained together it makes the game so volatile and so execution heavy that it's more kills, it's high octane gameplay. We like to see that here. I want to see the replay. Jane it looked so doomed for Jane because he was literally bouncing up and down for 5 seconds there, unable to press his ultimate, unable to flash away, just went down. Another kill to Yado, and we talked about Silas not being in his wheelhouse too much, but he's 2-0 up. And he's up in CS against a counter matchup with the Rod of Ages already completed. So Yado is looking like one of the big carries potentially in the series to bring Cerberus back to equal game score.
And he's the better scaling champion anyway. Now he started his off his Rod of Ages already. He has 1 stack on it going, so he will brutally outscale this Renekton likely. And we just now saw Jane. I mean, poor guy. Couldn't ult at the first place. Then later on, he manages to press the Dominus, but he just dies anyway because even the somewhat tanky Renekton is not tanky enough to withstand the CC chain. Very unlucky for him. And on the other side, they get the kill, but they get the kill on Soa's Alistar. What can Soa's Alistar really make a difference with a bit more gold? I mean, Alistar in general is just a meatball and a stunbot, basically. I mean, as much as yeah, how do I put it? I mean, I'm a bit of a devil's advocate for Alistar as a champion, as you hate the champion so much, but I gotta agree, he's not much more than what I just now described him as. And what does he really do with 300 more gold? I mean, you really want this gold on the Varus, on the Gragas maybe even, to have like some impact in the team fights. The Alistar surely won't have it.
Yeah, I think we are going to see quite a lot of Alistair in the next patch because he got a big buff there, but on this patch it's a little confusing to see him. Look at Fuchs' damage though. Pun tries to re-engage. Here's the Alistair. There's not a lot of follow-up DPS, so they can't actually lock down the kill, but that's more time, more space for Yoshino. He's going to get first tower of the game if he actually auto-attacks it. Yeah, there we go. That's 625 gold to Yoshino. He's in such a good position to carry the side lanes, but the rest of his team is falling too far behind. We don't have individual gold. There we actually have it. But if you look at that, Yoshino is at the top of the charts, and then 2 Cerberus players follow. So, especially if you look at Jane and Pudden, they are quite far behind their counterparts. Team fights could be quite hard to play, but maybe Fiora can carry.
And actually, what now we saw it, that's kind of surprising me, as poor Soa kind of inting it down, as the stolen Gragas ultimate kind of killing him there into the turret. The pun gap between him and Yoshino is actually bigger than the bot gap right now. It's 2k against 1.5k. It just maybe just a matter of all these turret platings in the first turret bonus gold falling for Yoshino as well as the 2 kills. And now actually Yoshino equalizing the CS gap that has been there beforehand. Right now, of course, yeah. Pun more in the position to really get more CS onto his belt, but overall, yeah, he's straight up down in CS by now. I mean, this is just Yoshino really stabilizing this lane matchup. So Yoshino definitely the strong part of the map for Team Flash, but on the other side, Artemis, of course, definitely very strong. And Fiora won't really team fight, so you would expect these next Drakes to go to the side of Cerberus yet again. Gotta say though, we have seen Flash outfight the team fights Chemtech Soul. And as I say that, yeah, they just dive pun again. Poor guy gets fallen out.
Needs to be careful. But Yado is here, and Yado, Yoshino doesn't have any mana. Good flash away. He was dead to rights if he doesn't flash there. And Ron-P defends a little bit too early, maybe. Tries to engage and lock down Yoshino, but they still, they actually protected the tower. So that's a huge win. I think Yado is really the big question mark in this game because he's so far ahead now. And yes, the map is split between bot and top side, but the mid lane is also a huge advantage for Cerberus. And this Silas is only going to get stronger. 4 stacks on the Rod of Ages. He's only going to get tankier and get more HP, AP to work with. Great ultimates, as we talked about earlier. The Alistar makes him unkillable in late game teamfights. So I'm keeping my eyes on Yado, on this champion that's not really associated with him too much, and his performance in this game looks really strong.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. It's not just Yoshino against Artemis, it's basically Yoshino against anything else. Yado is very fat, he's brutally outscaling. Also the jungle matchup, like Drakthar, despite all these top ganks that look kind of cheesy and clowny, where he kind of ruined Pun's day a little bit as well, where he needed to bail him out a little bit. Just now, with these kills, should be around equal in gold compared to the Gragas, and that's something that's, in the overall picture, I think fine for him. And yeah, all the objectives also going the way of Cerberus, right? The first 2 Drakes going their way. The first Herald wasn't, but the second Herald definitely is, and they can maybe use that one closely before the third Drake to really get the map control and vision control going around, to net themselves a soul point already in this game. And yeah, I'm just inclined to see what Yado can really do, and also what Artemis is doing this game. He's going for this old, I think Ravenous Hydra Zaya build, maybe even, or it's Galeforce Navori for him, to have like a mix of what the old Nefelti Zaya build was doing and what the Crit build is doing. Good burst initially, but also decent DPS.
Yeah, and Cerberus is just getting more and more control over the map. That's another turret broken in the mid lane. And the second tower already down to 20-30% HP. So next push is going to get that tower as well, opening up the map completely for Cerberus. They're in a very strong position, in my opinion. The gold lead is a little bit deceptive because so much gold is in that top lane for Flash. So if you eliminate Flash from the Yoshino from the equation, the rest of the team is probably like 5k gold ahead, and Cerberus is certainly able to stamp their authority on this map.
You didn't misspeak. I mean, calling Yoshino Team Flash kind of makes sense because he basically is the team right now. It's kind of there's their only hope, aside from maybe like a super insane 5-man explosive cast plus a barrel roll combination. Could be something to really chunk them out, but that's of course just a matter of fantasies. As Pun gets stove again. Can he live?
I'm so sorry for Pun. There's just nothing he can do. Fook actually with a super impressive game as well. A little bit quieter because he doesn't get the kills, but he's setting up Yoshino for success over and over again. 0-0-5, the perfect support for his top lane. And honestly, yes, it's in the grand scheme of things, it's not really changing too much about the whole map. But on the other hand, Cerberus is not really achieving anything on the other side either. So it's 3 kills for Flash, and their Fiora is now 402 items ready. So at some point, she's going to be able to break through Pun's defensive alone. And once that happens, you control the other side to play defensively on the other side of the map and just let Yoshino do his thing. And we might actually approach that state of affairs now.
That's the thing, like, will there ever be a point where Yoshino is actually able to solo kill Pan under the turret? Because that's what he basically needs to do to break open the game. Otherwise, the top lane doesn't matter meme kind of holds true in this game, as Fook is putting a lot of effort to really get Yoshino ahead, and for now, it doesn't seem that worthwhile, because always it's still Yoshino needing assistance to really get the kill going, and if he needs that one, then it's not really worth to play around him, as Cerberus slowly but surely gets these small objective wins with getting the Drake, getting the Herald, getting the turret pushes. Either way, just now this TP from Yado maybe not the most efficient one, as he was just catching the wave and not really getting anything more on the way out. This was maybe one of the smaller victories for the side of Team Flash, even I would say, as Drakthar can secure this Scuttle Crab. Will of course be nice for a potential Drake fight, in which I would of course very much favor Cerberus right now. The Fiora not really being a good team fighter, and she would definitely be still a more squishy target to really burst down. And in general, I think it will be very hard to kill Yado in this game at all. Like, he has Sona's Hourglass, he has almost stacked up War, and if you don't like quickly kill a Silas and don't outrange him with like Virus, I think Paladin is the one that would have to kill Yado. I think Yado can just mesh very, very well with those melee champions, use the Kingslayer over and over again, and just heal himself back up while killing everyone else.
Yeah, and especially with the Alistar ultimate available. Remember, his Alistar ultimate scales with his level, and he is a Rod of Ages. So once that comes in, and that's one more stack away, and he gets to level 16, he's going to be unkillable for 7 seconds, and he can wreak havoc for all those seconds. It's going to be a rough time. They might have to just throw the cask at him to defend against his advances. But in the meantime, Cerberus just getting incremental advantages, another dragon in their pocket. Cloud Soul sounds really nice to disengage against Flash if they ever fall into a back situation or a bad situation, or Pun has to run away from Yoshino, so that's another safety net. I can't really see Flash winning this map. They're holding on to their top lane lead, but they're not really making big steps towards a victory. What is their win condition here, Quincy?
Yoshino's the win condition, and I gotta say, like, this is the contrast to last game. But last game, they were also like staring down a Chemtech soul, and it was looking pretty dire, but not as dire because they still had this very easy to play, straightforward engage with the Annie, with the Vi, with Noctis. And this game, while they have a Fat Fury on the side lane, they don't have this straight up easy engage. I mean, sure, they have the Alistar, but I mean, if he engages, I mean, there's still Yado potentially stealing his ultimate, being a Giga tanky Silas that can still kill you. They have the bot lane not being in their favor this game. It's not really looking too good for them. And yeah, while the Gragas can still like make some fancy plays, create some smoke and mirror situations, in the overall 4-man squad, it's looking very heavily Cerberus favored, and that's why I think it will be very hard for Flash to fight really anything this game. Speaking of Yado, I think he just now stole the Alistar ultimate. This might just be one argument to go even heavier into the AP department, because he will be tanky with the Alistar ultimate anyway. He doesn't even need the Zodiac Hourglass, the Ward stack so much. As just now, he kind of burned the ultimate for nothing. That's kind of sad to see. Either way, Yado overall having a great game.
Yeah, there's nothing really urgent on the map happening, so he can kind of just toy with them. 1v3 situation there, and he just comfortably walks away, just tanking one of Fook's ultimates. And both teams seem to have settled down into this stare-down situation on the map, where Yoshino is definitely going to win bot side, but Cerberus is going to win the rest of the game on the other side of the map. So it's a race. 4 objectives on either side. Fook won. It's became very good E-timing. That was scary. He could have died. But they still want the engaged. Rondo P is on Jane, and Jane needs to flash away to Cerberus. Really wants to make their move. There's Yado. He goes in. He doesn't have the Alistar ult. He goes very low. Can put and execute him. There's the stopwatch. Artemis is trying to go in there as well. And Jane. Oh, Fook won. What an execution. Oh,
what a Silas!
Somehow, though. What is going on? It's a 1-for-1 in the end. That's actually a big win for Flash. What's happening in bot lane? Can Yoshino profit? Can he buy time, and can he get another tower? I think he's trying to dive. Potentially. He's under turret. Nope. He's not actually trying to dive Pan.
And Pan, I think, could at least kill the wave before going down, so it wouldn't be a huge turret push by the side of Yoshino. But we see just now Pan very much struggling so far, and Fook 1 surviving with about as much HP as the number in his name suggested, because it was just like 1 HP. And Yado on the Silas, kind of into this play, but still surviving. But here we see Baron started by Cerberus, TP coming out. They really want to rush this down.
Fook is too late. Fook is too late. Oh, they secure the Baron, but can Flash chase them down? There's Pan isolated, but in the meantime, Fook is already dead. Now the counter attack from Cerberus. They get the stun on Druktha. Druktha, where's Druktha? Is he still here? Ah, there he comes down again, but that's now Artemis time. Artemis kiting for his life. He goes down in the end. It's a mess on the map, and Yado wasn't here, but Cerberus still walk away with the victory in team fight and the Baron.
Pan once more. Yoshino low on mana. I think they want to chase this actually with the counter strike, and Leap being up. Panin will surely go down. It was already a winning play for the side of Cerberus. It's 4-for-2 now on the map, and they got the Baron. So at the end of the day, Cerberus very much happy with that play. They just rushed on the Baron. Fukon is a bit too late, and with the TPs coming out, yeah, it was something that they were confident in forcing. They lose Artemis, but they get a very huge prize as a consolation for that one, and they get the Baron. They get so many kills, and they will have this Baron to translate into this potential Cloud Soul. I think it will be the Cloud Soul. The overlay is kind of boggling with me. I think they do the Drakes manually and forgot one or something. Either way, it will be a potential Cloud Soul for them, and you're one of the advocates for Cloud Soul being very, very strong, so yeah, take it away.
Yeah, I actually want to focus on something else here, because to me it's fascinating how the Cerberus, we define them as this team fighting team, right? Playing around their very strict setup with front to back line, team fighting with super strong AD carry. But in this game they look more like the old GUM. A lot of individual agency, everyone has their own engaged sense, their own playmaking ability. Cerberus, Yado actually on the biggest playmaker with the Silas potentially, and everyone just playing for themselves. This is what GUM always did to win the titles, and it's very fascinating to see these players. They usually play such a structured match, such a well-coordinated team fight approach, play entirely different style and succeed at it.
Yeah, and this time, yeah, of course, the Cloud Soul being up shortly, but here, Pan being the living bait, basically, just buying some time with the Grandmaster at arms being there. In the 3-1, of course, he dies, but to what cost? I mean, Cerberus doesn't look for the soul, they look for the game right now. This is absolutely baffling. They are pushing 3 members down the inhibitor now, get the inhibitor now at least, force some recourse on the other side, and with that, on the backtrack, they likely just go for the soul, but I don't think that Flash will give it up for free. They will at least try to get a counter inhibitor, because Yoshino and Fook1 haven't based at all. Yado is 1v2ing them. He could actually win this 1v2, I think, if he kills Fook1 quickly.
Not just ignoring him, but look at Yoshino. Yoshino is trying to get the kill. He deals so much damage. One more Q. Oh, very nicely done from Yado.
Yado.
Yado is completely running circles around them. Very nice timing there. Yado with the re-engage. And now Fook in a lot of trouble. Tries to slow him down. But I think Yado with one more E should be able to get this one. Yeah, that zone is not going to help.
Very awkward death timer as well for Fuquan. I mean, you dragged us on the Drake anyway, so it probably wouldn't have mattered, but this just now will mean the soul for Cerberus. Gotta see on the bigger picture, Cerberus kind of playing with fire right there, also drawing an inhibitor on their side. I think this is way too much risk. There's so much that just could go wrong that should not be possible to even be in position to go wrong, and with that, it will be the soul for them. Yeah, we see the soul now on their markings, despite the overlay kind of making a fool of us. Either way, it's one inhib on each side. It is the inhib far away from Baron for the side of Team Flash though, and Baron will be the next big thing again. So I think on those inhib trades in general, it favors Cerberus yet again.
Yeah, but I am impressed with this sense that Team Flash, their exercise, just abandoning their own base because they knew they couldn't really defend against the advances of Cerberus with Baron buff. So they just called for the top side. They got a kill, they got an inhibitor, and they got some objective shutdowns too. So a little bit of money over to all of the members. I actually thought this was quite an imaginative approach there, not just bleeding out. They took matters into their own hands. It might not be enough to come back, but it's at least something. And I think this team has exhibited a lot of this kind of playstyle. They have a very active team. Jane under a little of pressure, but has Yada overchased. Yada's down. That's a huge kill, and Cerberus might have just overstayed their welcome. Where's Elise coming down? That TP is dangerous. Pun.
Yes.
Between towers, and Puddin is now able to chase him down. Can Pun run away? Yeah, he's very quick. He does have the Cloud Soul.
They need to cover the flank for Yoshino.
Oh no, what is happening? Yoshino on the other side, and that's just the support you're chasing down. Yes, you get the kill, but the fight is lost for your team. Pun with 2 kills, and Yoshino doesn't even get the kill on Ron OP. Flash lost in coordination. That's a triple kill for the super far behind enemy top laner. And that might have been the last nail in the coffin they needed.
It probably was, but I don't want to congratulate Cerberus there, because that was very, very sloppily played, very much risky execution on their side. That TP from Pan, man, just into the back line of both Jane and Puddin. I mean, he realized he could get kited out there, so he needed his help from his team to really cover that one. And yeah, Yoshino could flank 1OP, probably easily kill him, but he doesn't want to burn his grand challenge onto a support of all things, so he was able to get bailed out there by 1OP. 1OP just existing there was enough to make this a winning play for Cerberus. As on the other side, Yoshino had to watch with Pun getting a triple kill before dying, so it was a winning play for them, but way too sloppy. I mean, Yado also dying with both Flash and the Stolen Dominus up should never happen in any sort of shape or form with the Silas he's currently in. I mean, he's not that squishy, he shouldn't get one shot by anything and be surprised by that, so that definitely something that they need to work on, despite them likely winning this game. And I gotta say, don't call a game over before it is over. I mean, last game they lost with a Chem Soul, so Team Flash bringing in some chaos is definitely something that they can work with. And I mean, this inhibitor trade also, I want to applaud them for that. That was a good thing, because while on paper it's the worst inhib, them being so far down and still trading on paper even objectives is something that speaks in their favor.
And Elder only 3 minutes away, that's always a win condition. Regardless how far behind you are, if you steal Elder and get the team fight, could always go, and then suddenly Flash is 2-1. Oh, Yoshino. He's getting caught by Yado, but who's really catching whom here? I'm not entirely sure what's going on there. A little bit of a back and forth. But in the meantime, Cerberus just calls the Baron. Flash is so far away, they have no control over the vision, no control over their own jungle, so this Baron is gonna be a free pickup for Cerberus.
Yeah, that's a formality. I mean, we just now saw Fuquan in the mid lane, and so did Cerberus. Yado was even close to really whip his chains around him to really secure him off, or at least, just prevent Fuquan from being anywhere close to it. With the inhibitor, of course, Baron an easy pickup, but this could just be a dive in the pitch, and this could be the game right now. Jane just died.
And Salis is in there. He does have the Alistair ultimate. Look at him. He can't take any damage. Another kill on the Varus, and that should be game, as Sora is on the other side. But Fook and Sora don't have the damage. Ronopi is still alive. No, he goes down eventually. Fook actually putting in some work, and Yoshino 1v3. Can he find anything here? He's super fat, but he's still trying to play Fiora into 2 super strong late game champions on the other side. That's the last approach from Yoshino. He's walking down. He's level 16. He doesn't have his ultimate available, but does he find the vitals on Pun?
He can't.
He's under tower.
Should not be possible. He can only repost one spell. He can't repost both the Blade Caller and the Counter Strike, so it should not be possible for him to play. Repost is down, Featherstorm's there, and yeah, for Artemis, just an easy kill. Rips him off with the Blade Caller, and Artemis wins the star matchup against Yoshino, both literally and figuratively in the last second of the game, to even the series out to a 1-1 Cerberus strike back.